Yo, Gooners and Goonerettes, thank you everyone for watching. Today I'm picking out my greatest Arsenal 11. You may agree with it, you may not agree with it. But let's get this show started.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
So let's kick it off. I'm going to go with a formation today of 4-3-1-2. Starting off with goalkeeper. There can only be one goalkeeper. 13 years at the club. Major honours after major honours. Saves people still talk about today. David Seaman. That save against Sheffield United in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Coming to the end of his career and he still had the ability to claw a ball back out when no one thought it was possible for him to save. David Seaman is my number one and he is a must in everyone's Arsenal 11. Moving on to right back, I'm going to go with an invincible. Lauren, what a player. Running down the line, getting back, making sure you knew that he was the boss. He didn't score many goals for Arsenal, but you're not expected to score many goals for Arsenal. But I can mention one goal he did score for Arsenal. That penalty against Tottenham at Highbury in 2002. 1-1 it was at the time. Henry's too injured. Arsenal win a penalty. Lauren steps through the crowd. I'll take it. Puts the ball down the floor. On the spot. Calmly places the ball down the middle. We go on to win the game 2-1. And Arsenal go on to win the double that year. What a player Lauren is, and he is my right back. Moving on to left back. Ashley Cole is my left back. People might not agree with it, but I'm not going to go with hatred. I'm not going to go with the money. I'm going to go with ability, and Ashley Cole was a world-class left back. He has to be in my greatest Arsenal 11. Like I say, it wasn't the greatest near his Arsenal career, but he come through the ranks, and what he done for the club, again, he was an invincible, and what a player Ashley Cole was. Moving on to the two centre-back, I'm going to start off with the first centre-back, and he has to be in everyone's greatest Arsenal team. Tony Adams, 19 years at the club, 14 years as captain. That goal against Everton did sum him all up. What a player he was for the club. He won 4 league titles in 3 different decades. He is an absolute legend, and he is, again, an absolute must in everyone's greatest Arsenal 11. Moving on to the man beside him. He said he wanted to go and win the league at White Hart Lane. So he come to Arsenal and won the league at White Hart Lane. Sol Campbell, what a player he was. Winning the double in his first year. And then again, being an invincible. So unlucky he missed out in the Champions League after scoring in that finals. But Sol Campbell is my centre-back that goes with Tony Adams. Now we're going to start with the 3 in the midfield. To me, probably one of the most underrated players. And you know what? That invincible team wouldn't be the same if they didn't have this guy. Gilberto Silva came as a World Cup winner. Scored on his debut against Liverpool. The first man to score as an Arsenal player at the Emirates. Gilberto Silva was such a player. He done the dirty work to make everyone's game easier. Gilberto Silva is definitely in my Arsenal greatest 11. Moving on to the man beside him, Patrick Vieira. When he came to Arsenal, no one knew about him. When he left Arsenal, everyone knew about Patrick Vieira. Then battles against Roy Keane I absolutely loved. Goals he scored as well. The Manchester United goals, the Newcastle goals. He is an absolute quality player and he lifted that gold Premier League. Patrick Vieira is a must in everyone's Arsenal greatest 11. Last man of the 3 in the midfield, Robert Perez. Robert Perez, what a player. I look at Robert Perez now and I can still see him doing it in these charity events and stuff like that. He is a player, and you know what? He made Steven Gerrard look a fool at Anfield in 2001. That kind of flick and set up Blumberg. He done it so many times, but one goal that stands out for me with Perez is an Aston Villa goal. Ball flicked over. Player thinks, I'll keep you out to wide. He goes, get out of here, I'll flick it over your head. Get out of it. Peter Schmeichel, probably the greatest goalkeeper the Premier League's ever seen. 2 yards off his line. Lobs him over. Thank you very much. Perez, what a player he was for Arsenal. He is definitely in my greatest Arsenal 11. Moving on to the man behind the two strikers, Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp, 423 games for Arsenal, 120 goals. But he could create goals that no one thought was impossible. That goal against Newcastle as well, where he puts the man inside out and literally created his own skill. What a player Dennis Bergkamp was. You know what? Legend to the club, 11 years at Arsenal. He is a must in everyone's greatest Arsenal 11. Now we're going to move on to the first of the two strikers, Ian Wright. 185 goals for Arsenal. What a player Ian Wright was. Signed at Arsenal probably later in his career at 27 years old. And you know what? He scored 185 goals. And I believe if he played more games for Arsenal over the years and he came as a youngster, he would be Arsenal's highest goal scorer now. Ian Wright is a must in my Arsenal greatest 11. We're going to save the best till last, and we're going to keep it down to the Vavavoom, Thierry Henry. What a player Thierry Henry was. He is the reason why I love the number 14. He could have a top 10 goals in the Premier League belong to himself. He could have a top 5 goals in the Champions League belong to himself. He scored goals that people didn't even know you could even exist. Thierry Henry, what a player Thierry Henry was. That goal against Man United where he flicks it up and blocks Barthez from outside the box. That run against Tottenham. Thierry Henry is a legend. He's an absolute invincible. And he changed, I believe, he changed Arsenal's style of play. Them starting off as a winger, cutting inside, and you knew what Thierry Henry was going to do. You knew he was going to curl it around there, but he was so quick, his feet were so quick. You could not stop Thierry Henry. What a player Thierry Henry was. And he is definitely in my Arsenal greatest 11. So there you go. There's my Arsenal greatest 11. I want to see your Arsenal greatest 11. And if you don't agree with my Arsenal greatest 11, who would you replace him with? And who would you take out?